Thanks for joining us. Now, there's chaos at the Gamashi of the Ga traditional area as another group of claimants to the Ga stool have organized a press conference to announce their intentions to install another chief they describe as the legitimate heir of the throne. An unidentified group of irate young men last week, Chietaincy II, was installed as the new chief of the Ga traditional area. This was done amidst heavy security presence. Now, King Chu II has since been inducted into the Ga Traditional Council as the legitimate chief of the Ga traditional area and has taken over power as the Gamanche's palace. This morning, however, the situation has changed. A lot more drama is taking place at Gamashi as feuding factions are causing commotion, even in the presence of state security officials deployed to forestall peace and order. Joy News' Matilda Wemega, who is currently at the scene, reports police have arrested one person amidst the scuffle. Let's now go to Matilda, who has the latest. Matilda, what can you report currently from Gamashi?
So, Daniel, I can tell you that the situation is still a bit volatile because in spite of the heavy presence here, at the moment, I'm currently hiding in one of the homes here, but I can still see what they are.
Matilda, the line is not so clear. What do you say the situation is?
Daniel, can you hear?
It's much better now.
Okay, so at the moment, I have to hide in one of the homes around to be able to view because the situation still looks a bit volatile, even in spite of the presence of the heavy security here. And I can tell you that a few minutes ago, 3 more people were arrested, bringing the number to 4. They were kept in the police van. I don't know what is going to happen next. What actually triggered this arrest is some confusion. You know, some hours ago, 2 hours ago, there was a press conference by one of the royal homes, the supposed royal homes, the Abola Piamwe, here at the Bokum in Gamashi. There is concern over the installation of the new government, Chietaincy II, over his. They were raising concerns over his installation. Just a few minutes into the press conference, we came out trying to get some interviews from these people. Then some angry youths stormed the place, breaking bottles and all that. That was what called the attention of the police to move in here with the water cannon. And as we speak now, more policemen are coming into the scene, trying to ensure that peace. But the guys are still not even looking at the police. At the time that the police even arrived at the scene, trying to disperse the angry crowd that were charging as a result of this confusion. Some were still throwing bottles into the home. So, Daniel, as we speak now, the situation.
Unfortunately, we have lost Matilda Wemega there. Matilda, I don't know if you are on the line still, but we'll try and re-establish contact with her to get the latest on what is happening at Gamashi here in Accra. The latest now is that 4 persons have been arrested in connection with riots at that place, that part of the capital city. Now, Commander of the Asin Fosu Police, Chief Superintendent Harry Bacho, says his command is waiting for the 4-year-old girl defiled to recover in order to accompany them to identify the accused before effecting any arrest. Speaking to host of Joy FM's Super Morning Show, Kojo Yankson, on the status of investigations following a report filed by the victim's parents on the case, Chief Superintendent Bacho said the command needs the little girl to assist them in investigations. That can only be done after she has recovered and discharged from the hospital. A response which obviously did not sit well with the show host. Here's an extract of that phone interview earlier on radio this morning.
We wanted her to be okay before we move on it. And the father who identified the victim for us for him to lead us. And since they were discharged, the father was nowhere to be found. We said after the discharge of the girl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. You said you can't investigate until the child is cured.
No.
And discharged from hospital.
Don't put words into my mouth. I didn't say that. I said when she is discharged from the hospital, she should come and then assist her locate the victim.
Did the child not name any suspects while she was in hospital when the police went to visit? And what did you do about it?
Town and look for Kobina. She described all those things at the hospital.
And the police weren't able to act on it?
We don't know the village steps. At the time you go to the village and start looking for Kobina, we look at that is why we wanted the father who knows the suspect to lead us.
Did you actually go there and try to find this person based on the information given you?
Please, the problem is, if you come and tell me that Accra, Kobina is in Accra, where part of Accra am I going?
Let's be clear, this is not Accra, this is a village.
It's a village.
Yes, so let's not compare it to Accra.
So, you know the village life. Can you go to a village and just say, please, I'm looking for Kobina?
So did you...
We have to use intelligence, and the intelligence will pick it from the complainant. Because which victim is a small girl. It's the father who could lead us. This small girl, 5 years.
So it's the father that you need to lead you to the culprit.
Yes.
The father was not hospitalized. The father was in your police station.
Mr. Who is it, Kojo? Eh?
Yes, Kojo.
The problem is he's the one with the child at the hospital. Can she leave the child? He didn't come with any woman. He came with the child alone.
Did you speak to the mother?
There was no mother around.
The mother is the one looking after the child. Our journalist met the mother at the hospital with the child. Not the father, the mother.
Then you are giving me different information altogether. The man who came and made the complaint is the one we know as the complainant. You understand? We follow to the place, issue medical form, and give instructions. When she's discharged, come to the police station. She has discharged, nobody has come to report anything.
Now, residents of Lawra in the Upper West region are appealing for increased security in the area following series of highway robberies there. The latest incident was on Monday night and took the semblance of a Hollywood-style siege. Passengers of a minibus were held hostage for hours and the driver eventually killed. Rafiq Salam reports from Lawra that passengers now fear using that route due to the incident of robbery attacks.
The people of Lawra Bantama are in a state of shock and disbelief following the shooting to death of 21-year-old urban driver Abdul Kamal. Abdul Kamal was shot multiple times in the shoulder and in the neck by suspected robbers on the Nodulu-Lawra highway late Monday evening. He became unconscious and was rushed to the Nadulu hospital where he passed on this morning. The deceased was carrying passengers in an urban bus with registration number GS2440-11 from Wa to Lawra. There was an attempt to stop them halfway through the journey at Yezere by unknown persons using flashlight, but the driver refused to stop. This lady, who gave her name only as Irene, was one of the 14 passengers on the urban bus, and she narrated what happened.
A whole lot of torchlighters. They were just doing this. By then, but the driver too was on the wheel. By the time we all realized, they just shot the tire, and the car just moved into the bush. So it ran for some distance, and we're all just hitting each other, and it went and landed. By then, they were on the road, and they started crossing those who got down. So those who were sitting in front, they got down and opened the doors, and some of them started running. So I ran to some stand, and I said, where am I then going? So I asked one old man that we should go back and sit by the car. So when we went, the driver had then gotten down from the car, and he was just sitting on the floor. So they two of them quickly rushed there, and they were asking the driver that why is that we were stopping and he didn't stop.
This is not the first time passengers have been attacked and robbed at gunpoint by suspected robbers on the Nodulu-Lawra-Nandom highway. Sometimes it happened in broad daylight. Residents living along the highway says their life is under threat. John Dar is a farmer and a resident of Lawra.
We want to make this appeal to Honorable Ambrose P. Derrick, which is our Interior Minister. So he should just step his legs down and then come to our region and do us a favor. We in the Upper West region, we are now suffering. Right now, The travelers can no longer travel in the daytime or neither in the nighttime. So we are even appealing to the defense minister. We need military men in our region to come and take control in this road.
He also accused the police of having strong links with suspected robbers and supply them with weapons.
Where do the armed robbers used to get opportunity to get AK-47? We all understand that the police alone and then the Ghana Armed Forces, they have that opportunity. So we are suspecting the police.
Abdul Kamal has since been buried under strict Islamic tradition. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Lawra.
So the Ashanti region now, and the National Disaster Management Organization office in Kumasi says it will pull down a collapsing story building which is housing a number of retail shops in the Garden City. Shop owners in the collapsing structure this morning had to rush to move their wares out of the edifice before the entire edifice tumbles down on them. In an interview with Joy News, the owner, Mr. Daniel Fifi, told our Erastus Asaridonko he suspects somebody chiseled the entire building from beneath. Regional coordinator of NADMO, Mr. Kwabna Sentre, revealed that there are about 5 more of such buildings without a permit in the same stretch. Let's get over to Joy News' Erastus Asaridonko for the latest. Well, Erastus has joined us on the line. And Erastus, if you can hear me, we understand the building is to be pulled down anytime soon. Has the process begun?
The area has been evacuated. Directly opposite this 3-story structure is the Queen Elizabeth MA, KG and primary school. And some 40 minutes ago, the children were evacuated. And then there are other shops surrounding this particular edifice. They've all been cleared. The shops have been asked to close down and all the shopkeepers driven out of this place. So we have a large area cordoned off with armed policemen on one end and others on the other end as well. So the stretch from the Asapo interchange towards the Central Market area has been closed to traffic at the moment. So they are all using other routes to the city center. So all is set. We are now waiting for an equipment from the contractor. Contractor is the company working on the Kumasi Central Market project. So they are bringing in an to actually put it, drill the back of the building, and then try to push it towards the direction where it is collapsing towards, and bring it down completely, and then they will start chipping bits and pieces of it off until they get the debris off.
Now, as for interchange to Central Market, Erastus is a very busy part of Kumasi. Has traffic built up in any other section of town because of the blockage of traffic?
Well, since you are a Kumasi guy already, you know the traffic builder. You can imagine. In fact, the route from if you know the Smith building closer to the Prep Assembly Hall, there is a route in front of it. That is where all the vehicles are now using now. It's packed, is thick traffic that end towards the Labour roundabout. Then they take the route to the main Adum Central Business District. So it's thick traffic right here in Kumasi due to the closure of this particular stretch.
The shop owners able to clear their wares from the shops?
Well, currently, as I'm speaking to you, in the morning, those who started very early, only 2 shops were able to bring their things out.
Only how many shops, Erastus?
Only 2
Thank you.
Of the shops were able to bring their things out. Now, the other shops, some of them have, cement, bags of cement in there. They have roofing sheets stacked in there, and they were not allowed to remove them because experts here, the fire service, the police believe that if they go inside the building, might lose balance and it might cave in on them, and so they are not being allowed to bring the things out at the moment. So we must say that they've lost them.
So how did the shop owners react when they had to leave their properties in there?
Well, angrily, because some of them were still trying to enter the shops, as it were. They were telling the people that, indeed, they believe that it will not come down on them. One particular guy was telling me that he doesn't believe he will die out of a building collapse, so they should allow him to go in, salvage his goods, because that's his livelihood. And so that has been anger response from the shop owners who are trying to sell, even as we're right now trying to get any opportunity to try to salvage their goods.
So I'm curious, are there any people left within the cordoned area?
Well, nobody is left within the cordoned area now. We have the mayor of Kumasi, who is currently inspecting what is being done at the moment and to give the right decisions or orders to be carried out. So the fire service, the naval personnel, national security, and some journalists who are within the safety point of the barricade, they've mounted here. But as to the site, there is nobody there at the moment.
I don't know if the mayor has been speaking with the press, but do we know if any of these people who had wares in the shop would be compensated in any way?
Well, the mayor is around, and I'm trying to see if I could cut a short interview with him before he goes. So maybe we can grab a short interview with him before we go. Good afternoon, Mayor, and welcome to Joy News TV. Now, what would you say would be your first reaction to this? This has been sitting there for ages. All these buildings do not have permits.
For now, I can't say they don't have permits unless first of all.
Well, the NADMO officer, regional NADMO officer.
I don't know what basis upon which he's saying that they don't have permits, so I can't go that tangent.
But what would you say? What is going to happen now?
Now, what is going to happen is that, in fact, I've ordered for the demolition of the first person. So we are waiting for the machine to come and pull it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
But after the demolition, we still have some buildings along this particular route, sited directly sitting on the tubing drain. What is going to happen?
Well, after pulling down the first, what I'm going to do is to subject all the structures here. I'm going to ask the civil engineer to conduct structural integrity tests. And based upon the reports that will come, Assembly will use it and decide.
Well, so that's the mayor of Kumasi, Mr. Osei Esibe. Currently, he's inspecting the grounds and getting the necessary orders for the place to be demolished and certain measures carried out.
Right. Thank you very much, Erastus Sasaridonko, for that report there coming from the Ashanti region. You're still watching Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. A quick recap of what we've done so far. More drama is unfolding at the Ga traditional area in Accra as new claimants to the Ga stool announced intentions of installing a new chief they call the legitimate one in the coming days. Still to come, Black Stars Asamoah Gyan secures license to operate baby Jet Airlines services in the country. This was announced by President Akufo-Addo at the launch of the Air Africa show underway at the Kotoka International Airport. We'll be back after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back from that short break. Now, many NDC agents were unable to do their jobs and monitor the 2016 elections because of the party's failure to effectively coordinate logistics on election day. That's according to the Dr. Kwesi Botwe report intercepted by Joy News. Dr. Botwe led the committee to investigate the cause of the NDC's defeat in the last elections and highlights how the poor logistical organization seriously affected the NDC, especially in the Upper West and Upper East regions. Now, head of Joy News' political desk, Evans Menta, has details.
The Upper West region was one of the worst affected areas by the NDC's poor logistical mobilization. In fact, the Kwesibotu report points to how polling agents were left to starve until about 4 p.m. on election day. In fact, many of the NDC agents were fed by the then opposition MPP. It also observed that in many places across the country, money meant for the monitoring of the elections arrived on the eve of the elections and in some cases arrived on the day of the elections. In the Upper East and Upper West regions, for instance, the report says election directors had to travel to the northern region to receive their money. As a result of the late arrival of the money, the report observed the region was unable to monitor the elections and could therefore not guarantee the authenticity of the final results. Mumin Razak Gado was an election monitor for the NDC in the Upper West region.
If you are not fed, you can't sit and then fight for some of these things. Because as at that time, there was nobody to talk to. Everybody was just an ogre. Everybody was an ogora. Everybody was a boss. You can't even get closer to the exhibit.
The results of these poor logistical issues proved disastrous for the party. The party lost 5 parliamentary seats out of the total of 11. The committee also details how the party's internal results collation efforts were, quote, a complete mess.
Meanwhile, Communications Officer of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, Solomon Nkansa, says the failure of the communications team of his party in the 2016 elections is because of his exclusion from the strategic communication team of government. He also revealed he was given no funds by the party to run his team, and he had to depend on benevolence donations from notable party members. Solomon Nkansa was speaking on News Desk.
If the government saw me as somebody they cannot work with, and the Congress of the party saw me somebody who can lead, and it became the choice of the government, not the choice of the party. So therefore, we went to election and lost. You can even credit me that if I had been a party to it, I could have also added something that they lacked. In 2012, I was party to all the works we did, and we won. In 2008, I worked from Western region. So therefore, it shouldn't be somebody's decision to handpick people that he or she loves and work with. And the result is where we find ourselves. So for anybody to insert my name, that I was a problem. Problem in what? I trained all my communication officers under me, built their capacities. What I failed to do was not able to train polling station communication officers as a result of lack of funds.
How come you didn't have the funds?
My office was not resourced. I don't run any budget. I go around, solicit for funds on my own due to individual contact and friends that I have.
But your key office in the party, communications.
That is why Professor Botwe sums it up that our communication didn't go well and I will have to up it.
Solomon Nkansa further criticized his party's strategy to counter the message of now Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
There are people who could have handled some of our major issues. For instance, when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia then speaks about economic issues, you cannot find Solomon Nkansa to go and respond. Not even my colleague minister, Dr. Manibuama and the likes, if you are dealing with reputation management. You understand? You need to find a senior economist in our government to respond to Bawumia in equal measure and then swallow him. So if we allow that thing to go on whilst we're in government, we are building Bawumia's reputation. If you had Nana Akufo-Addo always running down President Mahama, and you find out that President Mahama cannot stoop so low to Nanado's then as a candidate Nanado to rub shoulders with him, we should have created a personality to deal with President Nanado, then candidate Nanado.
But why didn't you take these steps? You are communications officer of the party.
I hold degree in public relations, so I understand communications. But if you cannot make suggestions, you cannot contribute your ideas, what can you do?
Now, away from politics, Baby Jet Airlines belonging to the captain of the Ghana Black Stars, will soon start domestic air services in the country following the granting of license by the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. President Akufo-Addo, who disclosed this during the opening of the Air Africa show Wednesday morning, said government is in the process of improving air safety and security at the Kotoka International Airport to make it the preferred destination in West Africa.
Government, through the Ministry of Aviation, is renewing initial bilateral air services agreements with its contracting states. This has led to Africa World Airline, AWA, a domestic airline, now flying daily to Abuja and Lagos. Additionally, the number of international airlines operating in the country has increased marginally from 35 to 37 this year. These additions are Air France and Mid-Africa Aviation, an airline based in the Gambia. Other domestic airlines will hopefully follow suit soon. I've been reliably informed that the captain of our senior national football team, the Black Stars at Samoa, Baby Jet, has obtained an air carrier license and is working feverishly to establish an airline, obviously called Baby Jet Airlines. I want to appeal to other Ghanaians, both home and abroad, to invest in the rapidly growing aviation sector. It is worth mentioning that the record upsurge in the number of airlines and passengers, both domestically and internationally, has contributed significantly to the Ghanaian economy. These achievements did not happen overnight, but for the effort of the Ministry of Aviation and its agencies, namely the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, the Ghana Airports Company Limited, and other stakeholders in the aviation industry. With Ghana determined to fulfill its role as the gateway to West Africa, government is poised to build the most people-friendly and business-friendly economy in Africa.
This is watching Joy News today. Now, what does it mean to be a Jehovah's Witness today? The faith has often been in the limelight for very controversial issues, including the means of Christian evangelism. The church is now encouraging Christians to make the effort to study their ways of belief as the surest ways to demystify some of these beliefs. The church has just wrapped up a 3-day regional convention in Accra aimed at this. Joy News was there, and here's a report.
Jehovah's Witnesses, noted for their evangelism work, are one of the most popular Christian faiths in the world. Many of their beliefs usually makes them distinct from other Christian groups. Those unique beliefs make them loved and sometimes loathed too.
Because they don't understand exactly what we do, sometimes they think that we have nothing to do. We don't have anything to do. That's why we come to their homes and try to evangelize to them or teach them. But in truth, we have confidence in what the Bible teaches. And so we believe that if you have something good, what do you do with it? You share with others. And that's why we go out and preach to them, sharing the good news that we see in the Bible.
They don't really understand the work that we do. So they may have some ideas about who we are, but when they eventually start speaking to us, then they realize that what we're teaching is exactly what the Bible says.
At this convention, bringing together many circuits of the church in Ghana, attempts are being made to break those myths while giving the Christian fraternity hope for the second arrival of Christ the Savior.
There are a lot of misconceptions about Jehovah's Witnesses. And that makes it sometimes a challenge, because you meet somebody who wants to share something valuable with the person, and the person just closes the door on you because of something that he has said. This is to be expected. Jesus Christ said, all those who desire to follow him will be persecuted. So we understand and appreciate that these ones do not know what they are doing. That's why we keep going back. At this convention program, the program has been designed so that it reaches the heart of both young and old. If you notice all the talks, we have little clips, videos, movies that holds our attention. It adds visual impact of the message. So you have good retention. If you forget anything at all, at least the video you saw of how Bible has changed somebody's life. They are mostly reenactments, and these things, when you watch them, you go home, you reflect on them, and it helps you.
And that's it for today's Bulletin of Joy News today. I am Daniel Daze. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com.